Alright. The first video in 4 years. Woo, it's been a while, huh? Puyo Puyo is such an amazing action puzzle game because it has so much freedom in how you do things. But because of how the game works, this board can start looking really cluttered and messy. Like, what is any of this? What do you mean it makes sense to a Puyo player? Let's talk about that. As we all know in Versus Tetris, you can't just get by clearing singles all day. Singles don't do really much. Same in Puyo. Popping single groups doesn't really do much. A Tetris player's first step to greatness is learning how to do doubles, triples, and Tetrises. What do all these have in common? You prepare multiple lines before you clear them all at once with one final piece. Same in Puyo Puyo. Like how we set up multiple lines, we want to set up multiple groups of Puyos before we pop them. But in Tetris, it's a lot more intuitive to just set up lines and knock them down. You see gap, you fill gap, bam, you're gaming. You see gap, you fill gap, bam, you're gaming. You see gap, you fill gap, you spin a T, bam, you're gaming. In Puyo Puyo, it's a lot harder to visualize because not only do the gaps and the shape of the stack matter, you also have to worry about the contents of the stack. So let's go over the basics of Puyo real quick. Puyos pop when you connect a group of 4 together in any shape, as long as it's the same color. Hey, doesn't that look kind of familiar? But since we don't want to pop them so soon, let's take a single Puyo out. That leaves us with just 2 possible shapes, L's and sticks. These L's and sticks will be the foundation to how we approach building our first chain. So, let's drop this little pair of Puyo on the board, and let's focus on one of the colors here. Using this one little guy as our seed, imagine how this piece grows in any of these possible directions to establish either an L or a stick. Or, alternatively, how could an L or a stick be dropped in such a way that the seed is one of the bits of the piece? This will be our first objective, to create a shape of this color inside our Puyo board. For this example, I'm gonna feel like building it like this. So ignore every other color that you're throwing into the board for now and just lock in on creating this shape. Once you've done that, let's move on to step 2 of our chain. Let's create a second shape from another color nearby that we've just carelessly thrown onto our board. Each one of these stray Puyos can be our seed for the second group, as long as it has the room to grow. And now that we have 2 groups, let's evaluate our board a little bit. Which group can we pop first, and which one should become the second domino? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. It's this group, right there. That one is our ideal first domino. Generally speaking, the group that is higher up on the stack should be the first to pop. I call this the front of the chain, but you can also call it the head of the chain or the key. If the groups happen to be of the same elevation, then either of the 2 groups can be the key. Whatever isn't the key or the head here is the end of the chain, and we commonly call that the tail end. So now that we have the front and the tail of our chain planned and established, let's focus on the finishing touches. First, we need to add the missing 4th Puyo of the tail end to our stack. You want to make sure it sits on top of our key group, so when our key fires, our lonely slime gets to be reunited with his friends. And then die! Once that's placed, then all we need to do is get the 4th Puyo for the front group, and there it goes! It's our first 2 chain. Once you're feeling more comfortable in making chains like this, then we can go a little bit further. Remember when I said to focus on one color at the start? Let's try planting and growing both of the seeds at once. Remember, the only shapes you need to think about are L's and sticks. So, you could try these layouts to start. They don't need to be tightly intertwined too. You could try some side-to-side layouts like these. You could even get a little bit spicier and then drop the pair vertically, which allows you to seed the shapes into more arrangements, such as these. Once you have your first 2 groups laid out, go ahead and build them. Then, do the finishing touches for the tail end, and pop! Or maybe this could help. Imagine you're playing mini Tetris. Would that be called Tritris? Take 2 L's or 2 sticks or 1 of each, whatever, and drop them into the board in your mind in some fashion. Now, with Puyos, can you apply the finishing touches of these 2 pieces and make a 2 chain? Learning how to manage 2 seeds at once, along with the fundamentals covered here, will be your groundwork to further developing your chain building skills. And as you keep practicing and you grow more comfortable with your newfound green thumb, we can go to the next level and talk about juggling even more seeds at once, and working with patterns even. But that's for another video. I hope this helps mark the start of your Puyo Puyo journey, and I'll see you in the next one, where I expand your brain further by breaking a few rules I already talked about here? But yeah, class is dismissed. I'll see you guys next time. Go outside. Go play. Go do something. Throw a Puyo at somebody. What are you still doing here? Go. Go play. Go practice. Get good.